Hello, grade 6. How are you today? I hope you're fine. Today, inshallah, we're going to start module 7, Mother Nature. At first, open page 89 in your full blast book. And let me ask you some questions. Do you like spending time in nature? And why? For me, yes, I do. The natural environment is the best place to be if you wish to relax yourself. And what do you think are the most important environmental issues our planet is facing today? I think we have a lot, like global warming, deforestation, the rise in sea level, as well as land, sea, and air pollution. We have a lot. So now let's read the expressions, including the word nature in bold, and can you guess what they mean? Let me explain for you something that the word nature means all the plants, animals, and things that exist in the universe that aren't made by people. And Mother Nature here refers to the natural world, when you consider it as a force that affects the world and humans. And the first one, my parents are thinking about moving away from the city and going back to nature. What does that mean here, going back to nature? When you are camping, you get back to nature. That means to return to a simpler way of living. The second one, Jerry has lived all his life by the sea, so fishing comes as a second nature to him. What means it comes as a second nature to him? That's something you can do easily, or something that has become a habit for you. The third one, it's only human nature to be worried about environmental problems. What does it mean? It's only human nature. It refers to feelings, behavior that are common to all people. If you look at the first one, Kevin is a calm and relaxed person, so getting into arguments isn't in his nature. Here it refers to the behaviors or manners of somebody. Next, as a doctor, Dolly deals with a lot of people, so it helps that she's a good-natured person. That this person is so friendly and has a good manner. The sailing boat was lost in the middle of the sea during the storm and left to feel the forces of nature. The forces of nature, he means the way that things happen in the physical world when it's not controlled by people. And let's go to the last one. They were drinking lots of water because it was hot, but this meant they had to stop the car to answer the call of nature several times on the journey, and it refers politely to the need to go to the toilet. Now let's go to page 90 to start our lesson. At first, let me discuss with you some questions. Are there any animals that you would consider intelligent, and why? And what characteristics make humans different from animals? In my opinion, we have a lot of intelligent animals. Parrots are so intelligent because they can imitate human voices. And also monkeys, they can teach their young what they need to know and pass this knowledge from one generation to the next. In addition to this, they also use tools, medicine, and language. Humans are different from animals because they have a highly developed brain. Humans have the ability to distinguish between what's right and what's wrong and behave more civilized than most animals. So let's look at the titles and the pictures. What do you think the text is about? At first, watch this part. Amazing animals. Let's listen and read.
Module 7. Mother Nature. 7a. Read.
Amazing animals. You might think that what makes us different from animals is our ability to think and to build friendships with others. But in fact, animals are capable of more extraordinary things than you might imagine. Find out why.
So that means that you might think that what makes us different from animals is our ability to think and build friendships with others. But in fact, animals are capable of means they are able to do strange things, extraordinary things that you might imagine. Let's find out why together.
Big love.
Before we start, I want you to prepare some questions in your mind. What are elephants seen as in many cultures, and what are elephants known for in many cultures?
In many cultures, elephants are seen as a symbol of wisdom and are known for having an excellent memory. They have the largest brains of all land animals, and their intelligence is evident in their ability to learn, use tools, and even in their sense of humour. They are very social animals, and although they live in herds, they spend their lives in pairs devoted to a best friend. These friendships between elephants are well known, but in an elephant sanctuary in the United States, an unusual friendship blossomed.
So now, elephants are seen as a symbol of wisdom. That means they can make decisions. And also they are known for having an excellent memory in many cultures. They have the largest brains of all land animals, and their intelligence is evident. It's so clear in their ability to learn, use tools, and even their sense of humor. That means they are so funny. They are so sociable animals, and although they live in herds, herds here means groups, they spend their lives in pairs. They can also choose their best friend. These friendships between elephants are well known, but in an elephant sanctuary in the United States, an unusual friendship blossoms produced. If I ask you the question, where is their intelligence evident? How is it clear that they are so intelligent? In their ability to learn, use tools, and even in their sense of humor. Do elephants live together in herds? Yes, they do. They live in groups. Can they make friendships? Yes, they can make friendships. And sometimes it's unusual. How is it unusual? Look at this part and answer me, what did Tara and Bella love doing?
As her best friend. The odd pair loved spending all their time together, eating, sleeping and playing. Then one day, Bella had an accident. For the entire 3 weeks it took her to recover, Tara waited outside the sanctuary office. She was free to wander the 2,200 acres, but she was loyal to her friend and chose to wait for her to get better. It just shows us how animals don't consider differences when they choose their friends.
So now Tara, an Asian elephant, has a friendship with the dog Bella. They are best friends, and they are odd pair, they are a strange pair. They loved spending all their time together, eating, sleeping, and playing. Then one day, Bella had an accident. So what happens? Then one day, Bella had an accident. For the entire 3 weeks, it took her to recover. Recover here means to get well. Tara waited outside the sanctuary office. So listen, if I ask you a question now, how did it take Bella to recover? It took 3 weeks. And what did Tara do while Bella was ill? She waited outside the sanctuary office. The sanctuary office means an area where wild birds or animals are protected. So it just shows us how animals don't consider differences when they choose their friends. Let's watch this part Before I start, I will ask you some questions. Please prepare them. Who do we use the word bird brain for? And what do some crows make tools for? Let's listen and read.
Clever crows. We use the word bird brain for people who aren't very clever. But just because birds have small brains, it doesn't necessarily mean they aren't intelligent, especially crows. Some crows make tools for finding food. They think about what tool they need and look for it. If they cannot find the right shape, they make the tool themselves by cutting bits of wood from trees, leaves or grass. They even store their tools in a safe place to use at a later time. Another thing they hide is food.
So now, what does it mean, the word bird brain? It means this is an expression. We can use it for people who aren't so clever. But just because birds have small brains, it doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't intelligent. Especially crows, some crows make tools for finding food. They think about what tool they can use and they need. If they cannot find the right shape, they can make their own tools themselves by cutting bits of wood from trees, leaves, or grass. They even store here means to keep their tools in a safe place to use at a later time. So also they can hide food. How can they hide food? We will know after listening to this part.
This is common among many animals. But if a crow thinks another crow from the flock is watching, it will pretend to store food in one place, then put it somewhere else. Crows in Japan are clever enough to leave nuts on the road at traffic lights so that cars will run over them and crack them open. And amazingly, crows have been filmed using food scraps for fish bait. They drop the scraps into the sea to attract fish and catch them. Pretty smart thinking for such a small brain.
So now, what do some crows make tools for? They make tools for finding food. And what do they do if they can't find tools that are the right shape? They make the tools themselves by cutting bits of wood from trees, leaves, or grass. So what do crows use food scraps for? Food scraps here means bits of food that haven't been eaten. They use it for fish bait to catch fish. And how do crows catch fish? By dropping the scraps into the sea. So once again, this is common among many animals. But if a crow thinks another crow from the flock is watching, a flock here means a group of birds, it will pretend to store food in one place, then put it in another place. So they put the nuts on the road so that cars will run over, will drive on the nuts and crack them. And amazingly, crows have been filmed using food scraps for fish bait to catch fish. They drop the scraps into the sea to attract fish and catch them. Pretty smart thinking for such a small brain. Look at this part of the video.
That's good. Giá đâu thì lên xuống. Khi quên tay giờ. Yeah. Okay. These are touch of good.
To start, I want you to prepare some questions. What are dolphins well known for? And what happened in 2008? Please listen and read, then try to answer me the questions.
Their ability to understand human language. However, Many people do not realize how well they communicate with other animals with which they share the oceans. In 2008, 2 whales, a mother and her calf, ended up getting stuck in shallow waters off the coast of New Zealand. A group of people gathered at once wanting to help. They spent hours trying to direct the whales back into deeper waters. Both the rescuers and whales were exhausted, and after some time the authorities were at a loss. They didn't know what to do next, and in the end, they decided to give up. They were considering putting the animals down when a dolphin turned up. Somehow, it calmed the whales down and communicated with them. Within a few minutes, the whales were following the dolphin back to the freedom of safe waters. The dolphin had saved their lives and had accomplished something that humans had not been able to. It reminds us that even though we might not understand what animals are saying, other animals probably do.
What are dolphins well known for? They are well known for their intelligence and their ability to understand human language. And what happened in 2008? 2 whales, a mother and her calf, ended up getting stuck in shallow waters. Shallow waters here means not deep waters of the coast. A group of people, what did they do? They came together at once to help. But what did they do? They spent hours trying to direct the whales back into deeper waters. Did they succeed? Both the rescuers and whales were exhausted. They were so tired after suffering much time to help them. And after some time, the authorities, and that means people who have the power to help, were at loss. They didn't know what to do next. And in the end, they decided to give up. They were considering putting the animals down when a dolphin turned up. So, what did the dolphin do? It calmed the whales down and communicated with them. Did it take the dolphin long to lead the whales back to the freedom of safe waters? No, it didn't. So, within a few minutes, the whales were following the dolphin back to the freedom of safe waters. The dolphin had saved their lives and had achieved something that humans hadn't been able to. It reminds us that even though we might not understand what animals are saying, other animals probably do. So, what does the story of the whales and the dolphin show? That even though we might not understand what animals are saying, other animals probably do. So for now, let's read the text again and write E for elephant, C for crow, and D for dolphin. Which animal uses its knowledge to help other species? Yes, it's the dolphin. And which animal doesn't care about species when building a relationship? Yes, it's the elephant. Sometimes plays tricks on other members of the same species. Very good. It's the crow. And it's intelligent despite the size of its brain. Yes, of course, it's the crow also. Which animal has been known to succeed where people can't? Very good. It's the dolphin. And which one has developed the ability to plan for future events? It's the crow. Which one shows unusual levels of loyalty to be true friends? Very good, it's the elephant. And at last, which one uses humans to accomplish a task? Very good, it's the crow. Let's look at the last exercise here. Match the highlighted words, phrases in the text with their meanings. There are 2 extra meanings which you do not need to use. The first word, devoted, means having great love for somebody and being loyal to them. It's I. And odd means strange. Very good. And what does that mean, recover? Means to get well. Number 4, run over. What does it mean, run over? Drive over something. And shallow water means not deep water. And gather here means, very good, come together to form a group. Accomplish, the last one, it means achieve or succeed in doing something. at the end of this lesson, please study page 41 very well and answer page 42 in your A-level booklet and study hard.